Good afternoon, Britain. Is the UK set to head back into the European Union? Well, not that long ago, the man leading the polls, Sir Keir Starmer, said, "We don't want to diverge from EU rules."
The more we share values, the more we share a future together, the less the conflict. And actually, different ways of solving problems become available. Actually, we don't want to diverge.
And then last week, the Labour leader said the music that best represents his party is the EU anthem.
The Labour Party, one of the pieces I've got is Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the choral Ode to Joy. That's been hardwired in me for a long, long time. So I would go with that. There are many others that I could associate with the Labour Party, but it's that sense of moving forward to a better place.
A better place. And last night we saw a further piece of the puzzle. The EU President, Ursula von der Leyen, has opened the door to the United Kingdom rejoining.
Speaking of this European Union, do you believe that Britain could ever rejoin this European Union? Britain? Who? It's a small country with an ambassador sitting right there. It's a small pirate island off the coast of France. UK. United Kingdom. Could it rejoin the European Union?
Ambassador. So, Ambassador, you know my position. First of all, thanks God, with the Windsor Agreement, we had a new beginning for old friends. Very important. And then I must say, I keep telling my children, you have to fix it. We goofed it up. You have to fix it. So I think here, too, the direction of travel,
Oh, that was worse than I thought.
Yeah, she was talking about her preferred direction of travel there. But interestingly, written into the Brexit deal is the option to renew, revise or terminate this Brexit deal every 5 years.
Yes, so therefore, in 2025, the current deal, the one that was set by Boris Johnson's administration, will expire and negotiations with the European Union will reopen.
That's after the next general election. So could this lead to another government, a different government, taking the country back into the EU?
Let's piece this all together. Joining us now is former Vice President of the European Movement and former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Vince Cable. Thank you very much for joining us. You just watched that clip of Ursula von der Leyen there. It was all laughs, all joking about the United Kingdom, just a little island off the coast of France. Do you think that with this renegotiation of the Brexit deal coming up and potentially with Keir Starmer as our Prime Minister, there is a very real chance that we could end up rejoining the European Union?
Well, I think we could, but nothing is going to happen in a great hurry. As von der Leyen made it very clear, this is an issue for her children rather than for her. But I think what she said is significant, because I think one of the factors that would inhibit the British from reopening negotiations with the European Union on membership is the fact that the European Union wouldn't want it, because why would they want years of hassle after we've had Brexit? But her tone was very warm. I'm pretty confident before the decade is out, we will be on a trajectory to join. I wouldn't say rejoin, because Europe will then be very different. We'll have Ukraine probably as a member. We may be thinking about different tiers of membership, the kind of thing that Macron has been holding out. So, I think the direction of travel is towards closer integration with Europe, but not rejoining anytime soon.
We heard some of the words from Keir Starmer only a few months ago about not wanting to diverge from EU rules. And now, even if that doesn't mean rejoining the bloc, many people would sort of raise an eyebrow and think, well, if you're going to leave and have the friction with regard to many aspects of trade that creates, why wouldn't you choose the upsides of setting your own rules? Why would you leave and then follow all of their rules anyway?
Well, because we're already discovering that having diverging rules is very costly. And I think, first of all, there is a lot of objective evidence about the disruption that Brexit's caused. And crucially, there is a change in the public mood. I think we haven't got to the stage where there is a consensus about joining Union. There's still significant Brexit feeling, but the mood, I think, is that it was a mistake. And that we need to realign with the European Union. And it's not just economics. I think, the war in Ukraine, I think, has fundamentally underlined the fact that we have very, very close common interests, and we should be working with the Europeans in areas where those common interests
Hasn't
exist.
the war in Ukraine shown a bit of divergence between countries like Canada, the United States and the United Kingdom that have been on the more forefront level of supporting Ukraine, particularly with arms, compared to countries like Germany that have been very reluctant to provide militaristic support to the Ukrainians?
Well, that was true initially, but actually the Germans have provided an enormous amount of support, as well as taking in a large number of Ukrainians. And of course, the countries on the east of the European Union are those who are most strongly committed to support for Ukraine because they know what could come next. So, no, I would treat this as an area where the British and the Europeans are getting used to working together. And I think it will move on to economic issues where the costs of leaving have been very considerable.
Vince, just lastly, pro-Europeans often look at the European Union as a beacon of progressivism. Are you not concerned that actually if we rejoin the European Union or got closer, we're seeing the continent actually shift quite to the right? Are you not concerned about that we can forge our own path?
Yeah, I am very concerned. Populism, you call it right. I don't know whether right-left is a good way of dealing with it, but this kind of populism, anti-foreigner sentiment has been very strong. It's deeply entrenched in Hungary and recently in Slovakia. We've seen the impacts in Netherlands. It could happen in France. Yeah, it is concerning. It's nothing like as extreme as we encounter in the United States. And there's the real possibility of Trump returning to power that will create a big cleavage between Europe and the United States. But yeah, it is a worrying phenomenon. It's not totally absent in our own country. But yes, I think we have to deal with it and deal with it head on.
Discussions that certainly aren't going away, and perhaps this will become a larger conversation as we approach a likely election next year and that renegotiation